Lady met a charming stranger on a train who ended up becoming a pivotal person that flipped her whole life. Everybody dreams of a fairy tale love life. Why do we watch romantic movies and read novels? Well, for most, it would be because they usually reflect what we want our lives to be like. Seeing these gorgeous actors and actresses fall in love on screen is what makes these movies so attractive and addictive. So what if we told you this lady had experienced something straight out of a romantic comedy movie? Well, just read ahead and perhaps you will find hope that your life would somehow be like her love life in the near future. Life was not exciting at all for Zoe Fulbig. Nothing was happening in her personal life nor at her workplace. She was just counting days until something significant happened to her. She would take the same train each morning to reach her office. She was working at the insurance company where she was just waiting for her days to go by. She did not have much going on until she would commute using this train every day, where she would not meet or encounter anyone special or worth noticing. Each morning she would meet the same familiar strangers on this train. But one day something changed. Zoe spotted a face that would go on to completely turn her life around. Let's us go into detail how her life flipped in the coming days after that. Her day would usually start with a ride on the train to her workplace where nothing exciting ever happens. And then, on a random day, she unexpectedly bumped into a guy she had never seen before. He looked like a charming young man that was seated just across her. This guy would always be submerged in his books and was able to grab Zoe's attention. After that day, this attractive stranger would often ride in the same train where Zoe would be in. And pretty soon she started to develop a crush on the handsome stranger. With each day passing, her crush on him grew more and more intense, and Zoe knew she had to do something about it. She was not one to barge in front of a stranger, but knew she had to get his attention too. So what did she do? It was a very quick and intense crush that Zoe developed on a stranger on the train. Zoe knew that this was not an ordinary crush, that it was something more. She soon realized after a few weeks of constantly riding on the train with this man every day, it was love. She was actually falling in love with him even though she knew absolutely nothing about the guy yet. Zoe was falling head over heels for the guy who reads books on the train. She was quite caught off guard by this guy because she was not expecting to fall for him this quick. She then tried desperately to try and get him to notice her. She would often bring her own books and read them, as she sat next to the guy in the hopes of him approaching her somehow. Even though she would read and try to get him to notice what she was doing, Zoe's efforts failed. He was not giving her the time of day. He did not even give any attention her way. Despite her efforts, he certainly did not notice her. Zoe knew then that there was a need to do something more. She then opted toward wearing fancier clothes, dropping her old boring office attires. Even after changing up her wardrobe, Zoe was still not getting what she wanted. The mystery man still did not even notice her. Not to mention, didn't even look her way. He still continued to ignore her. So what was she to do now? All of her efforts were failing, and so Zoe needed to look for a better option to try and get closer to him. She desperately needed to talk to him. It was sad for Zoe because even though she did not intend to do so, she was falling in deep. She quickly discovered that she was growing more in love with him as each day went. She was bummed out that her few attempts to somehow get his attention had failed. The mystery man did not even know that she existed. He was too involved with his books to even notice that this lady was in love with him. Zoe had tried to grab the guy's attention by reading books on the train and also dressing up fancy. However, her effort all went in vain because he was still not looking at her or speaking to her. She now understood that it was time she made the move. She was getting impatient because she needed to be closer to him and not be strangers. Her next move was something really unbelievable. A lot of time had passed by after she developed the crush on the mystery guy from the train. Since she could not get the guy to talk to her or even notice her, Zoe had to pull all stops and do something drastic. So what did she go and do? Well, since desperate times call for desperate measures, Zoe wrote a note to the guy, inviting him for a drink with her number in it. But how did she manage to give this note to him? Well, you could say that Zoe summoned all her courage to try and hand it over to the guy. So was she able to do this herself? Well, one day, as she was getting off the train, Zoe then gave this note she had written for him to the stranger. This was definitely a brave move to have been done by her, but was it going to be enough? Even after the note was handed to him by Zoe, there was still no progress. Even though it took a lot from her to actually get in contact with him, she did it at last. But it was not what she expected, because the mystery man still did not contact her. Zoe was patiently waiting for an answer from the guy she had such a huge crush on. Finally, she received a reply one night. Zoe had been waiting days and nights for the guy to give his response, and when she least expected it, Zoe ultimately got a response from him. However, this was news that did not favor her side at all. In fact, it was one that shattered all her chances with ever being with the guy from the train. The words that he replied with would surely make her feel helpless now. And now, Zoe knew that there was no way her crush could ever be involved with her. On the message he sent her, the guy from the train was telling her that he was in a relationship. He was committed to his girlfriend, and so he would not be able to go for drinks with her even though he finds her cute. Since he was not single, he could not share drinks with her. Since his reply was something she did not expect, Zoe was devastated. It was the most unfortunate message she had ever received in her life, because she really wanted to be with the guy. She was disappointed and soon began to lose all hope of ever getting the chance to be with him. But as life goes, surprises always happen when we do not expect one. So one day, everything changed. Since Zoe did not get the reply that she had hoped to receive, she went on with her boring life once again. She tried to forget about her crush and focus on her career. But after a few months, Zoe then received a message from the mystery man informing her that he was now single and that he wanted to go drinking with her. And after that message, she found herself dating him. Even though this was a long time coming, Zoe was now with a guy she always wanted to be with for months. From feeling devastated that she was never going to date him to now being his leading lady, Zoe now got what she wished for, and the two had many things in common. The mystery man's name was Mark, and also held a job at an insurance company just like Zoe. And it was a win-win for the two of them because Zoe and Mark had so much in common. The two were perfect for each other. They were the perfect match for each other, it turns out. It turns out, Zoe did not need to do so much to get his interest and attention at all. The two of them shared so many similar interests and were also fans of the same type of music and enjoyed the same kind of books. The both of them were ready to go on a date very casually without many expectations, but soon they realized that it was not something they could fight, that their connection was real. The two of them soon learned that they were ready to get more serious and be committed to each other. What took place next will get you amazed and believe in fate. The two lovers were soon getting more and more serious. She definitely did not expect to be so involved with the stranger that she had developed a crush on in the train she commutes on. When he finally reached out to her, the pair became instantly inseparable. Zoe and Mark then went ahead and did something that every loving couple does. They dated for a while, then went on their first vacation together. Since the two are so bonded and share such a deep connection, the vacation turned out to be so much fun. They were able to enjoy such a great time and soon realized that they needed to take it one step further. They wanted to stay together as the pair was so in love and were having a blast together. It felt right to live together and be with each other under one roof. When the couple initially started dating, they did not plan on being this coupled up. Zoe indeed had one big crush on her, but soon even Mark got to her level too. He realized that this was no ordinary relationship, that Zoe was a special girl. During the vacation they took together, Mark realized that he wanted to spend his whole life with his girlfriend. Since Mark was a romantic, he did not want to just give Zoe an ordinary proposal. He wanted to give her something that was meaningful and memorable. What could he do though? Well, after he spent a few days coming up with a plan, he finally asked her to marry him at a train station. This was the perfect spot for the couple, as it was where they met each other despite the bump along the journey they had to get across. And after she agreed to his proposal, there was only one thing left to do: to hold a proper wedding ceremony. So when they got back, the couple then announced to everybody that they had made the decision to unite as a couple, that they were going to get married. The wedding was magical, as Zoe stated later. It was simply everything she had always wanted her whole life. And so the couple that fell in love so quickly were now officially married. It was all uphill from there, as they were such a happy and connected couple. Even after the wedding, all good things were happening to this couple. Their life was a literal storybook love tale. However, it did not just end there for the couple. Another important incident took place soon after. Just when you thought that things could not get any better, there was another thing that happened to the loving couple. It was something that any newly married couple would be happy to hear. After getting married to Mark, the couple was not expecting their first child, and now Zoe was pregnant with a child. This was definitely good news. And then from there, she managed to marry her crush, whom she had tried to get a hold of ever since her boring days on her way to work months back. It was certainly very surprising for her because she now got married to and was pregnant with a baby from the guy she liked on the train. Now their family was growing and the couple could not be happier. It was exciting enough for the lovely couple to be expecting their very first child. There was yet another great news to celebrate. The pair once again welcomed a healthy baby boy, and now, together, the two of them now had 2 cute boys. This was indeed another happy addition to the family, as they had always wished to expand their family. Now they had 2 lovely boys to look after. And just imagine the kind of story they would now have for their kids. The new parents can now share their beautiful and exciting love story with their boys. It was such a great love story that they are sure their children would love to hear about it. And so naturally, Zoe made a decision to do something to let the world know about her strange and fantastic journey with her husband. And Zoe had always been a lover of books and movies. Her whole life was such a twist of fate that it was not something to keep for herself. She wanted to share it too. And so Zoe finally made a decision to write a book about her story with Mark. He was so supportive of her, but then he wanted to wait until it was published. He then finally got to read the book, which left him in tears. And Zoe did not even hide anything when she penned down her story with her lover. It was love at first sight, Zoe stated in the book that she wrote. It was now clear that there was a spark that ignited in her the very first time she saw him on the train. And also, in her book, she is motivating people to talk to their crushes even though they may be strangers. And so, in the end, everything worked out for the eager woman who just wanted a shot with the good-looking guy on the train. This all happened only due to her bravery and determination. None of this would have been possible if she did not muster up the courage to go up to Mark and speak to him. She quotes herself in the book she wrote about her love life. And for Zoe, all the hard work that she put in trying to get close to Mark was coming to a fruitful end. She was now happy and had a loving family of her own with the man of her dreams. And this turned out to be the best decision that she ever made in her whole life. Zoe was now a happily married mother who was in love and with 2 adorable boys. She was truly enjoying her time. And after all that had taken place in her life, Zoe was now happier than she had ever been. And this is how Zoe's story with Mark ends. She was now able to get Mark's attention, and not only that, got married to him and had kids with him. She managed to convert a complete stranger to her husband. If this does not inspire you to take charge and make something happen in your life, then what will?